Good morning. We are here at appropriations around the horseshoe, and we're going to be
represent House District 66, which is parts of the towns of Casco, Poland, and Raymond.
Representative Cardone.
Hello, I'm Barbara Cardone. I represent House District 127, part of Bangor.
Representative Corey.
Good morning, Patrick Corey, House District. It's late 25, which is part of Wyndham.
Representative Millet.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So one Millet, House District 71, Waterford, Sweden, Norway, and West Paris.
Representative Hymanson.
Patty Hymanson, representing House District 4, parts of York, Wells, Sanford, and all of Ogunquit.
Representative Cloutier.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kristen Cloutier. I represent House District 60, which is part of my hometown of Lewiston.
Representative Arado.
Good morning. My name is Amy Arata and I represent House District 65, which includes New Gloucester and part of Poland.
Representative Martin.
Good morning, John Martin, House District 151, Northwestern Aroostook County.
Senator Davis.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Paul Davis. I represent Senate District 4, which is all of Piscataquis County and parts of Somerset and Penobscot.
Senator Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Donna Bailey, proudly serving the people of Senate District 31, which is Saco, Old Orchard Beach, Hollis, Leamington, and part of Buxton.
And my co-chair, Representative Peirce.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Teresa Peirce. I represent House District 44, which is the majority of Falmouth, and I serve as the House Chair on AFA.
And my name is Kathy Breen. I represent 6.5 communities in Cumberland County, and I serve as Senate Chair of Appropes. I was just reminded we had a little bit of a technical glitch, so we are on audio tonight, but we are not on video. We did sound out. Oh, we are on both. Oh, okay, disregard that. We're okay. Thank you. So far, so good. We're on camera. We're going to start. We are going to wrap up tonight. And we're going to start with some more work on positions, and then we'll go to the MODOCs, and we'll be walking through each issue, each thing as each initiative. And we do have some amendments that we will be articulating verbally, and we'll have probably share that a little bit, and till we get to the end, and then take a committee vote on our amendment. So are there any questions from any of the members before we get started? Okay, Representative Peirce and Representative Millet will do their usual thing.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We'll be starting with LD 1995, a proposal to eliminate some vacant positions. And your sheet looks like this if you have it with you. I'll just read it off. We'll do a second and go from there. So this is in the Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry. I move we eliminate 3 vacant full-time egg poultry processing inspector positions and 2 vacant intermittent egg poultry processing positions.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. Thank you.
Also in the Department of Agriculture, Conservation, and Forestry, I move to eliminate 1 vacant intermittent certified seed specialist position.
That's a
Second.
mouthful.
Oh my God.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Professional and Financial Regulation, I move to eliminate 1 vacant part-time insurance claim examiner position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the-
Madam Chair, just, I'm not sure people were clear that this is not part of the MODOC. This is something in addition to that. So people who are scoring at home just have to listen and pay attention and watch the rerun on YouTube if they need to.
For those playing along at home. Okay. So we're still in the Department of Professional and Financial Regulation. I move to eliminate one vacant secretary associate position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Corrections, I move to eliminate one vacant advocate position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, in the Adult Community Corrections, I move to eliminate one vacant part-time probation officer position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, I move to eliminate one vacant juvenile program worker position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, I move to eliminate one vacant intermittent teacher MS +30 position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, Long Creek Youth Development Center, I move to eliminate one vacant teacher MS juvenile position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Environmental Protection, I move to eliminate two vacant intermittent conservation aid positions.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, I move to eliminate one vacant office associate 2 position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Health and Human Services, I move to eliminate one vacant part-time office assistant position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Same department, I move to eliminate one vacant part-time physician assistant position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, I move to eliminate one vacant intermittent deputy game warden position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Labor, I move to eliminate two vacant career consultant positions.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Marine Resources, I move to eliminate one vacant office associate 2 position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Defense, Veterans and Emergency Management, I move to eliminate one vacant full-time military security police officer position, one vacant part-time military police officer position, one vacant inventory and property associate 1 position, one vacant custodial worker 2 position, and one vacant part-time building mechanical system specialist position.
Second.
All those, any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
In the Department of Transportation, I move to eliminate one vacant procurement contracting specialist.
I'll second that and note that this is a highway fund position, but I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
And in the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, I move to eliminate one vacant Public Service Coordinator 1 position and one vacant Office Assistant 2 position.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
May I just make one, there was a typo
Okay,
in the Department of Labor. There was actually 3 vacant career consultant positions being eliminated. And the typo was mine.
so in the Department of Labor on page 3 of the document, it should be, we should change the 2 to a 3. Is that a friendly amendment we can all accept?
Friendly amendment seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 12-0.
Just keep moving.
Oh, I like to keep those. Oh, whatever.
We'll turn now to the MODOC that everyone is familiar with, and we're going to begin on page 6 of the MODOC. Feels like people are turned to page 6. We'll begin on line 88 in the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, Office of the Commissioner. I'd like to move in this line item. It provides funding to address the PFAS contamination.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I know that there's a company language with this section, but I think we'll wait till the end to do all of our language at one time. Our next line item is line 97 on page 7. Madam Chair, this has to do with the tick lab, and I will let you be the bearer of the good news.
I hope I can get through this. So we have an appropriation for the Humane Extension Service tick lab. And we're gonna cut the annual appropriation in half. So starting in FY23, we're gonna appropriate $250,000 per year ongoing. And then there is a bill, LD 808, that proposes to eliminate a fee on pesticides that was designed to fund the tick lab, but never really did the job. So we're gonna eliminate the fee and distribute the money in that account according to the formula of the underlying legislation. So I think that's all I need to say. Is that right, Maureen? Okay. So are there any questions or discussion about that?
I'll move that in as amended.
second,
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? 12-0.
So, Madam Chair, that a motion then accompanied was for both the language and the appropriation?
Correct.
Thank you.
Our next line item is line 99. And I'd like to move this. This is the Fire Protection Commission, and I'd like to move this in.
second,
Any discussion? Sorry, any discussion? All those in favor? 12-0.
Our next line item is 100. This is the Board of Trustees of the Maine Community College System. This provides one-time funding for 2 years of free community college. I'd like to move this line item in.
second,
Do we need
Well, that's the language.
the
part.
separate language? Okay, great. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I think we'll go to line 137. This is in the Department of Education, School Finance and Operations, and it provides the funding to pay the difference with the federal reimbursement for our free breakfast and lunch program. I'd like to move this in.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
The next line item is line 145. The Board of Trustees for the University of Maine System, the Maine Economic Improvement Fund. I'd like to move this in as amended, lowering the amount from 3 million to 2 million.
second,
Any dis-
Line 145, sorry.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next, we'll go to line 165, which is on the top of page 11. This is in the Department of Health and Human Services. Riverview Psychiatric Care, it's line 165 and 166. And I'd like to move this in as of amended, establishing 2 psychiatric nurse practitioner positions.
compared to the ask of 4, so a reduction. of
Correct,
2.
it's a lowering from 4 to 2.
Second, the motion to amend.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll now go to line 178, which is at the bottom of page 11. This is also in the Department of Health and Human Services, and it's funding to, for services performed by the Office of the Attorney General. I'd like to move that in.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Line 179, same department and same providing funding for services performed by the Office of the Attorney General. I move that in.
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll go to line 180. Again, in the Department of Health and Human Services, Mental Health Services, and it's also providing funding for services performed by the Office of the Attorney General. I move that in.
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Line 181, same department. This is the Office of Family Independence, and it's again providing funding for services performed by the Office of the Attorney General. I move that in.
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Line 182, Department of Health and Human Services, Office of Aging and Disability Services for the Adult Protective Services. And this is again to provide funding for services performed by the Office of the Attorney General. I move that in.
second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to line 201, which is on page 13. We're going to deal with lines 201 and 202. This is in the Department of Health and Human Services, Medicare payments to providers, and we're going to move both of these out.
second to both,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll now go to line 235. This is in the Department of Economic and Community Development, administrative, within the Department of Administration, and I'd like to move this out.
second,
Sorry, I'm just checking on them.
Yep, that's line 235.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to line 242. This is on page 15, 242, Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife, Office of the Commissioner. This is providing funding for the consolidation of the department by relocating to a larger building in Augusta. And we're going to move this in as amended by moving the amount in the all other category for FY22 to FY23.
Second is amended.
242.
Any discussion?
Madam Chair,
Maureen?
was this intended to be ongoing or one time?
One time.
Thank you. So you want to amend the Blippi also to specify one time?
Okay.
So the amended version is to provide the funding for one time and move it into FY23. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to line 266. Which is on page 16. This is in the Department of the Judiciary. This provides in the courts, and it provides for funding for civil legal services. We're going to move this to the general fund and make it ongoing. So I move this in as amended.
Second.
What line is it again?
266. Is that right?
Yes. So I just want to, we're going to take out the phrase one time. And we're going to put this amount of money in the baseline for funding of civil legal services for persons unable to afford a lawyer. So this will go to the courts and then to the Civil Legal Services Fund. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I have 265 table.
I'm about ready to say that I missed a line. So I popped over line 265, but I'd like to turn your attention to that line item. We actually, I believe, voted on this. We have not voted on this. Oh, no, you, Representative Cardone tabled this on the last time go around. And so we would like to just move this. This is in the Judiciary Department under the courts, and it establishes one IT field technician position and 4 courtroom technician positions to provide technical support to the courtrooms and assist in updating courtroom technology throughout the state. I move this in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Now we're on line 267. And it coordinates with lines 268 and 269. And we're going to need to do some language change that will affect some of these line items. So I'll go through them kind of slowly, and we'll also clean it up in language as well when we get there. So line 267, this is in the Department of Economic and Community Development. It is to start the Housing Opportunity Program. This line establishes 2 limited period public service coordinator 2 positions that go through June 8th, 2024, and provides funding for the associate and all other costs. So I'll move that in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Line 268 is in the same department and the same housing opportunity program. And this provides for competitive grants to regional service providers and supports town housing ordinance developments and planning boards and public processes. I move that in.
I was seconded, and just note that these 3 lines are all connected to an LD that was discussed earlier this evening.
Correct.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
And then in line 269, in the same department with the Housing Opportunity Program, provide funding for community housing implementation grants to individual towns to support community housing projects. I want to move this in as amended The amount right now is 1,555,000. I would like to lower that by 100,000. And I'll be addressing what we're doing with that 100,000 in the next sentence. I move that in as amended.
Second that, the amendment.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
And then we'll have a additional line item in the budget, which the initiative that provides one-time funds to reimburse municipalities by June 30th, 2023 for any mandated costs of amending and implementing ordinances related to accessory dwelling units and multiple dwelling units allowed in residential areas. And that will be for $100,000. And so I move that in. And I will just say that this is something that deals with LD 2003. But this was also an initiative put forth by the governor. They just happened to correlate.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Okay. Now we're on line 271. And this is in the Department of Labor, Employment Security Services. It has to do with 38 limited period positions. Or well, let's see. Yes, it does. And we would like to continue these as limited period positions through June 2025.
has the effect of eliminating the head count in funding and budgeting terms, but I'll second that.
And these are all federally funded positions. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
The next line is 273. This is a study commission providing funding for the costs associated with developing the paid family and medical leave benefits program. I'd like to move this in.
Second,
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to line 291. This is in the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, Central Administrative Applications. It provides funding to support the Human Resources Management System and the modernization of the budget system. And I'd like to move that in.
Is there a second?
second, sorry.
Representative Ducharme?
I understand there's currently some mediation or some process going on with the prior service provider. And I was wondering if there was going to be some kind of return to the state or how that's going to work, if you could help us with that. For Commissioner Figueroa.
Sure. Would you mind answering that question? There's whether we're gonna, do you mean, are we gonna recoup any of the money
Are we
from
gonna
the,
recoup?
from the prior vendor?
Correct, correct.
Okay.
That's what I'm wondering.
Hello, Commissioner.
Hi. Hi, this is Kirsten Figueroa, the Commissioner of Administrative and Financial Services. So we haven't had mediation with the vendor yet. There's a planned mediation with the vendor. The state is definitely looking to recover or receive some kind of enumeration for what's happened, but I couldn't speak to whether we will or will not. What I will say is that we would be very interested in getting ongoing licensing provided by the vendor. So we may not receive cash, but we'd like to receive a service in the future. But I wouldn't really be able to talk more about what that's going to look like.
So that's in process. It's nothing you can talk about, but it's kind of an overview.
Yeah, the
of what you're-
mediation is scheduled for early May.
Okay, thank you.
Let's just finish. So Representative Ducharme, does that answer your question? Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any further questions or discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? 13-0. Just go.
We'll next move to line 309. And this is in the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, COVID pandemic relief payments. This is to provide funding for a disaster relief program that will provide $850 relief payments to eligible Maine citizens. We are going to move this in as amended. We will be, again, sending $850 checks to people who qualify. And we are changing the threshold that the governor had proposed to single family people who make under 100,000. If you're a head of a household, 150, and if you're a married couple, $200,000, and that will total 700,029,063,870.
Any?
I would second that, and if I might just comment and thank everybody who worked this issue, including people in the building not here tonight. This is a significant issue, and we're very hopeful that it can survive upstairs and allow the issuance of payments electronically to the extent possible and as soon as practicable to a whole variety of people. I think the number would be approximately 857,000 people. So I want to thank everybody for this.
And this is for sure one time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Any discussion, further discussion or questions?
Is that motion then amending the language part L? Oh, okay, so and do you mind saying that total one more time?
729,063,870.
All set, Maureen? Yep. Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I'll turn your attention to line 310 of the document. This is also in the Department of Administrative and Financial Services, Revenue Services. I'd like to move that in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next is line 312 and 313. And I want to move, these have to do with municipal revenue sharing. And I want to move both of these in as amended based on the calculation that can be made with OFPR and the budget office.
Second.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The reason that I'm using those words is that it's a calculation that's done after we've done our work in here involving a number of line items. And so it gives them the flexibility to move forward and calculate that for us.
And this has to do with municipal revenue sharing.
Correct.
Any discussion, questions? All those in favor? 13-0.
So now we'll move to language.
Madam Chair, I think there's two that you have missed.
Oh, did I miss two again?
Yeah, I think line 254 needs to be amended before we leave this document.
Thank you. So line 254 of the MODOC, on page 15 of the MODOC, And we had originally done some work on this, and then we need to move to reconsider. So I make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
And this is part of the judicial department within the courts, and we would like to, the proposal was to establish 5 assistant clerk positions, and we'd like to move that down to 4. So I move that in as amended. Am I wrong about that again? I'm so sorry. 3, excuse me, 3. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with the judicial department. I love the judicial department.
It's okay, I've got your back.
Okay, thanks. So we'll move that from 5 to 3. I move that in as amended. Thank you.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. Representative Cloutier?
Thank you. So I actually had 4 lines that I'm wondering if we can check. So 63 and 64.
I have those as having been voted in already.
Okay. And then 151. Yes, and then 233 was the last one.
Line 151 on page 10 of the document, Efficiency Trust Main. This is providing one-time funding to support electrical vehicle rebate programs. I'd like to move this in as amended, and we're lowering the amount from 7 million to 3.5.
Any discussion?
And I will second that and comment that that has been moved. No, that's correct, at 3.5. Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. What was the other one, Representative Cloutier?
233.
230.
That's on page 14. This is in Health and Human Services, Office of Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services. I move that in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
So now I'll turn to Maureen or any other members of the
Can I-
committee. Are there any other line items that we're concerned about?
163,
What page, Representative Heising?
page 10.
I have that we move that in
Okay.
13-0. Do others have that?
All right, so I think we'll move on to the language document. All right.
Do you want to do this when we get to?
Yep.
I'll do the first part.
Yep.
They're 2 separate things. Looks like everyone is ready to begin. We're going to start with language part D. This is in the IF and W committee. It was an ask to authorize Maine Governmental Facility Authority to issue additional securities up to the amount of $39,500,000. I'd like to move this out.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. Oh, I'm sorry, 12. Opposed? 12-1.
Next, we'll do language part E. This increases the earned income tax credit for tax years beginning on or after January 1 from 25% to 50% of the federal earned income tax credit for individuals with no qualifying children, and from 12% to 25% of the federal earned income tax credit for all other eligible individuals. I'd like to move that in.
Second.
And I have a minor amendment to that.
I'm sorry, I thought they were separate things. That's what but if you'd like to make a friendly amendment to it.
Yeah, just because it goes with it has to do with taxes. I'll just explain it now, but maybe we'll move it in separately. But some of you might be familiar with the program that helps people file their income taxes. It's called the CASH program. It's run out of UMaine Augusta and New Ventures Maine. And so we're going to do $100,000 one-time appropriation to that program so that folks who need help filing their income taxes can get volunteer help that's trained with IRS certification. So this felt like the right time to explain it. I'm sticking with it. But we probably would, do we have a separate initiative on that? We do. Let me ask, Maureen, can we do it in this or do we need to do it differently?
I would make that a separate motion if you don't
Okay.
mind, just to be
Okay.
clear.
So I guess it's just in as it is right now. We'll get to that other thing later. Okay, so the motion is in, just in, and it's been seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to line I. This is in a transfer of $10 million to the unappropriated surplus fund to the main of the general fund to the main budget stabilization fund. I move that out.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I think our next line item was L, or language, but I believe that we did that when we voted in the line item that's associated with the COVID relief checks. So that was a 13-0 vote, I believe. Right?
Yes.
Thank you. And then we're on line M as in Mary, language M. This was a proposal to change the deputy director position from within the Department of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry to the Bureau of Land and Parks from serving at the pleasure of the commissioner to a classified confidential position. I move that out.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Our next is language part U. This establishes the Housing Opportunity Program within the Department of Economic and Community Development to encourage and support the development of additional housing units in Maine. And I move that in as amended. And I discussed this earlier when we were doing the line item where we adjusted some of the funding to include an additional $100,000 line that was taken from an earlier line.
What's the amount?
The amount is the same as 3 million total.
Second.
Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
The next is line Y. This creates the Education Stabilization Fund. There was a proposal to transfer $30 million into this fund. We're going to move this in as amended to 15 million.
And we have some language.
And there is language that we have attached to it that discusses exactly what this fund will do. It creates the Education Budget Stabilization Fund, and what this fund does is, as you know, we went to 55% for the first time to cover the cost of public education. And we want to make sure that we have maybe some funds available should we need to make sure that we stay at 55%. And the language articulates that's what these funds are used for. And so I'd like to move both that language in and decrease the amount from 30 million to 15.
And Chair, did you
Yes.
mention the cascade as the
Oh, I
source
did
of
not.
that?
Do you want to discuss that or?
Yeah, I think we agreed on this to be done through the cascade. I think it would become number 2 item, Maureen, after the top 4. at 15 million.
So this is fixed transfers on the
Right.
Cascade
Yes.
at 15 million.
Correct.
And that is in addition to the 15 million transfer in this, that was just proposed.
No,
No.
reduce the 30 out of the
Okay.
large transfer.
So that 15 million that you referenced is not in this part.
Right.
Why transfer? It is actually only 15 million from the Cascade. Okay. And it's fixed transfer right after all of the statutory, current statutory.
Does that mean we need to move this line out?
You're amending the language of part Y, and in that part of that language, you're not doing any transfer. So that section that does the actual transfer from the unappropriated surplus to that fund would be deleted.
So I think we have a second.
Yeah, I would second it, and I would just make absolutely clear that, and I think Maureen said, this would be the sixth item after the four statutories. There's one more we'll talk about for number 5.
Okay, so this is actually not the one right after the statutory, but we'll get to that. Thank you.
And then I'll just add that the language that we're talking about mirrors LD 1963 that was recently passed by the legislature. So people are familiar with that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next is language part Z. This is the transfer of money that had to deal with from the general fund to the efficiency main trust with the the rebate program, incentive program, and we lowered this number from 7 million to 3.5. I move that in as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
So we are next on JJ. Is that correct? Did you say
think
that?
FF.
Oh, FF, excuse me. FF is in the Health and Human Services arena. This has to do with the transfer of $30 million from the unappropriated surplus of the general fund to the main care stabilization fund. We would like to amend this in 2 ways. We are going to be amending the 30 million to 0, but we also have some language similar to what we did with the Education Stabilization Fund. But I was hoping maybe Representative Hymanson might give a couple quick sentences around that language. Thank you.
Thank you. The purpose of this amendment is twofold. One, to gain legislative oversight over the fund transfers from the main care stabilization fund, and 2, to make it most likely that continuation of the appropriation will show up as a new initiative rather than simply flow to the baseline. This will ensure a budget review with a public hearing opportunity. And
Thank
that's
you.
what-
Oh,
That's what I
Nelson.
had to say.
Okay. Thank you very much. In addition to that language around the main care budget stabilization fund, we also are including some language in FF around nursing homes. And I'm wondering, Maureen, if you have that language, because I'm not finding it in with my stack.
I do have it. A section of FF with notwithstanding provisions of law, Health and Human Services is authorized to access the main care stabilization fund if additional funding above the $10,774,981 already allocated for those providers is required to implement the part quadruple A of the Public Law 2021, Chapter 398 for nursing facilities and private non-medical institutions that care for residents who are older or disabled, or PNMI-Cs, and that's through June 30th, 2023.
Thank you very much. So again, we want to move this in as amended. We're the $30 million that's been proposed, we're moving that to 0. We have additional language around the main care stabilization fund and the nursing home language.
And I just want to remind folks around the horseshoe as well as the public is that we already have about $59 million in the main care stabilization fund. So it's not that we're zeroing out that fund at all. We're just not adding 30 million to it. So just as an FYI. So any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? 13-0.
Our next language part would be JJ. This correlated to a line item that we discussed earlier tonight. It has to do with the proposed transfer of $1.3 million from the unappropriated surplus of the general fund to the main civil legal services. We changed that in the line to be a general fund appropriation that is ongoing. And so we no longer need this language, and I'd like to move this out.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next is language part KK. This has to do with the transfer of $300,000 to the Commission to Develop Paid Family Leave and Medical Benefits Program. I would like to move this in as amended. The commission no longer exists, LD 1952. And so I'd like to reconstitute the commission in order for this money to be used in this ongoing project that the legislature is working on.
Second, the N is amended.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next is NN. This was a transfer of $14.7 million from the unappropriated surplus of the general fund to a reserve for retirement benefits. I move this out.
Second.
Maureen, if we're gonna change this retirement benefit thing, is this the place where we should?
You could actually, it's pretty much the same topic for retirees. So if you want to just use that language part and replace it with what you are proposing for retirees, that
Okay.
would work.
I make a friendly pullback of my my motion to move out, and I'll move this in as amended, and I believe Senator Breen will provide some context for it.
Yes, thank you.
Second, the friendly amendment.
Thank you. So I'll describe what we're gonna do. Right now, the public retirement system has a cap of 3% on the cost of living adjustment. And given the state of inflation at the moment, we're going to raise the base up to 5.4%. So we're gonna make an additional investment of $37.3 million, which would be increasing the COLA so that the base is increased not just to 3%, but to an additional 2.4%. And then in addition to that, we're going to do a cumulative COLA increase from 3 to 4%, which is going to be paid upfront because it's an unfunded, it's part of the UAL, we have to pay in advance. So that'll be an additional $67.5 million. So in total, line NN is no longer 14.7 million, but it's now 104.8 million. And this will be going to folks in the public retirement system, paid up front, but with lots of good benefits over time. So are there any questions or comments on that? Okay, all in favor? 13-0.
We'll next go to language part 00 as an Oscar. This is the transfer of $20 million from the unappropriated surplus fund to the main community college, free community college program. And I'd like to move this in. Oh, and we have some amended language on this, which is friendly. It's friendly. It's called in a really friendly way, the Bailey Amendment, because Senator Bailey worked on it. And Senator Bailey, would you like to just say a few words about that? You don't have it. Hold on, got to find our Bailey Amendment. Here we go. So, oh, there we go.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's very simple. I'll just read it. It just adds to the current language, final sentence that says to be eligible for the MCCS Free Community College, a high school graduate or equivalent must be enrolled full-time, pursue an associate degree or academic credential, live in the state of Maine at the time of enrollment and while enrolled in the program, and accept all federal and state grants, scholarships, and any other funding sources. So we're just putting a little guardrails around the program.
So we'll move that in as amended.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Our next line item language part is PP. This has to do with the transportation department and funds for the DOT in terms of highway and bridges and multimodal transfer funds. And I wonder if Representative Millet, would you like to explain this to the group?
Yes, the governor's original transfer was designed to be 85 million for roads and bridges, which we all know are in need, and 15 million to multimodal. The plan, as we've now negotiated and discussed it, would be to put 50 million of the roads and bridges in the general fund line for FY23, 35 million as the fifth item in the cascade, following the four statutory ones, and then ask that the 20% distribution to the highway fund at the very end of the cascade be slightly amended to insert the words, the first 15 million would be assigned to the multimodal program at DOT. I think that covers the changes.
Agreed.
I'll second that.
That's 50 million
Of the general fund.
for the general fund, and then 35 million cascade.
Mhm.
And the first 15 will come from, will go to the
Multimodal.
multimodal.
And that's,
Yep.
John, that is the, remember the 80-20 that happens after the cascade items? That would be a fit within the 20% piece.
In effect, they get 100 million.
We still wind up at 100 million. Yep.
Yeah.
Any other questions, discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
And then, Madam Chair, we have language part XX. And this is the transfer of the funds that we voted on in an earlier line item that have to do with PFAS contamination of $5 million in FY22 and $55 million in FY23. I move those in.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Part XX,
We'll talk
is
about
that
the
one
language.
that was going to be amended?
Once we changed the formula for transportation, we decided to leave this as is.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, no worries.
Never hurts to check.
So, Madam Chair, I think
Yes.
maybe she was asking the question about the
Oh, the
XX
language.
language as the amendments to it.
That's correct. We did have some language that we wanted to amend in this. And Representative Millet, would you like to talk about that language a
Oh, I
bit?
would love to. These are changes that are minor in the language, but the intent is, I think, clearly reflective of what we'd like to do to make sure that this now 60 million of new funding for the PFAS program be properly used and used for the right purposes. So we made two slight changes in the membership of the advisory committee so that there would be two members of the Senate appointed by the president, one member from the party holding the largest number of seats, one member from the party holding the second largest, two members from the House with the same language. Then we clearly allowed one member representing the financial sector with expertise in agricultural finance and lending to be appointed by the Commissioner of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry, and 5 more members of the public representing the agricultural sector also appointed by the Commissioner of Agriculture, Conservation and Forestry. We later talked about the work of the advisory committee and the expectations going forward. And we know this is going to be more than a few months. It's going to be an ongoing process that the committee would, this language is inserted, shall report to the Joint Standing Committee of the Legislature having jurisdiction over agricultural matters. And I believe we've added, Maureen, the Department of Environmental Protection as well. And lastly, a new sentence saying the Joint Standing Committee of the Legislature holding or having jurisdiction over agricultural matters is authorized to report out legislation related to the annual report. And again, that has been friendly amended to include the DEP or the Environment and Natural Resources Committee, I believe. And that's about it. There's a slight change in language at the very end, and it would be in the summary. So it just describes the changes I've already discussed.
And may I add that in the language there was also going to be a language about advisory committee, about the appointments and able to convene if the appointments, certain appointments haven't been made. It's somewhat standard for legislative committees, which this has become. And there's a small appropriation for the legislature for the expenses of the legislators on the committee.
Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor? 13-0.
Madam Chair, we'll go to language part H. I apologize for missing that on the first round through. This is in the Taxation Committee. It has to do with the educational opportunity student loan credit. It's a revamp of the system, and we have an amendment to this, which I believe Senator Bailey will be discussing as well.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The amendment just recognizes, as most of you know, I've had my concern about this has been just doing something to try to grandfather some of the current recipients. And so what we've done is put in language that if a STEM recipient has received any credit in the last 3 years, they'd be receiving $3,500 for 2 years. And that extra $1,000 wouldn't go towards their $25,000 cap. And this is just, recognizing that these recipients in particular probably made life choices based on the promises we made for the previous credit and allowing them to just transition to the new program. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, discussion on that?
I just got late word from my boss, so I have to say this, that the main revenue service regarding the change to part H, that they were going to request
Position.
Yeah, and I have the information from my boss to pass out regarding.
Okay, thanks. You know, when your boss brings you, he should be.
Self-funded. It's self-funded. Offset. No.
So Maureen, if I understand this correctly, the Maine Revenue Service is requesting a position that would be effective October 1, 2022. A tax examiner 2 full-time permanent position, and all other that would receive training, perform desk audits, and provide taxpayer assistance relative to the one-time increase in the maximum allowable SLRTC, and to perform ongoing desk audits for the purpose of determining the validity of the SLRTC claims. Sound good? Any questions? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor?
We move and second it.
Sorry.
Sorry, we'll move it in as amended with both the amendment by Senator Bailey that she read and then the recent addition.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. We're going to be doing some work on pension deductions, and I believe Representative Millet will be discussing that with or making the motion.
We'll do the tax exemption one first.
Sure.
We have an amendment that will benefit a lot of private sector retirees, as well as increase the current statutory exemption for pension income by state employees and teachers, which is currently capped at 10,000. The proposal would raise that cap for the tax year we're now in for filers next April to 25,000, and increase it by 5,000 in tax year 23 and another 5 in tax year 24. So that would get us to, in the next biennium at the second year, approximate what Social Security exempts from taxation right now, and would benefit a significant number of private sector employees who have 401k and IRA income that are currently not allowed to use the pension exemption from the main state income tax. So I would move it. We have the draft language. I assume Maureen has it, and I would so move.
We were using that as their description for that for them.
Yes, I do not
do not
currently possess that language, so I'm hoping that it exists somewhere. And I'm looking to Commissioner Figueroa, hoping for a nod. I got no nod, so we will work on that.
I'll second Representative Millet's description that you moved in.
And I'm not sure whether I gave my copy to you, Senator, or. Oh, I have it. I can give it to Maureen.
Any questions or discussion before we, that's been moved by Representative Millet, seconded by Representative Peirce. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. And Representative Millet, we already did the COLA one. Was there something else you were going to describe? We did that already.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
I think we have covered the 3 new issues of significance. And I guess we did describe this adequately before.
We have a few other things that came to our attention that we need to address and make a motion to reconsider a few things. So a couple more sheets of paper to get through. Right now, though, I'd like to ask us to reconsider something that we did in the change package on page 31 of the change package. There were two initiatives. They had to do with the behavioral health system that we pulled together with a variety of LDs. And there was just some clarifying language that needs to be included in that proposal that we've already all voted on unanimously. The clarifying language is that these funds are non-lapsing for the purposes specified. And also that the department will report back to the Joint Standing Committee of the Legislature having jurisdiction over appropriations of financial affairs and health and human services by September 30th, 2022 on its timeline and progress toward finalizing and implementing the rate study. And the revised rates for these priority services shall take effect January 1, 2023. These are really just clarifying sentences to be absolutely clear what we were, the legislative intent around these behavioral health initiatives that we're putting forward. So.
And there's no change in the money.
No change in the money. So I make a motion to reconsider.
Second.
And,
All those in favor? 13-0.
and then I make a motion to move in this amended language.
Is there a
And I
second?
will second that. And just as a friendly question, do I have the Green amendment as that you intended?
Yes,
or-
that's what we have.
And could you just clarify for me? I know that we had asked Commissioner Figueroa to address that issue of the COLA applicable to nursing facilities. Is that embedded in here?
No, we did that with
A different amendment.
the main care stabilization section of language.
I'll try to find it.
With FF, so we've covered that. And this is relevant to the behavioral health package that we voted on in the change package.
I'll second that. I had no-
Great. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor? 13-0.
Our next order of business will be some language, and this is in section K1, a transfer from the Liquor Operations Revenue Fund. We would like to amend this. We had the number here of 20 million, and we're moving that to 56 million during the fiscal year of 22-23.
Second.
And I just wanted to clarify that original 20 million was in LD 715 from last year. You had voted then to transfer in 23, 20 million, and now you are saying transfer another 30, whatever it was. Yeah. So the additional amount.
To a total of 56.
Thank you. I could not remember the number.
We're transferring an additional 36. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
We have another initiative brought forth through Ledge Council, I believe, for the legislature to establish one senior legislative analyst position within OFPR. So I'd like to move that in. It totals $159,125.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
And then we also have disaster recovery proposal that we'd like to put forth. This was brought by the Commissioner Figueroa. I'll just read it so that we're all clear about it. Fiscal year 2021, year-end unappropriated surplus priority transfer. The state controller at the close of the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2022, as the next priority after the transfer is authorized pursuant to the Maine revised statute, and this is the cascade, will transfer $2.5 million for the reserve of the general fund operating capital pursuant to a section, and it transfers this. This has to do when we have disasters around the state, like the Halloween storm. We need to have some funds available so that when we need to match with FEMA or access those funds from the federal level, we have to have some funds of our own in the state. And this is putting funds in the cascade for this purpose so that then we can then access these federal dollars. I'm sure Commissioner Figueroa could explain that in maybe more detail and more clarity than I did, but that's the gist of it. I make a motion to move it in.
Second.
Any discussion?
Can I get some clarification? And so this is the third touch to the cascade you're doing, and I just need the priority. So far I have the first priority being the fixed transfer for roads and bridges. I have a priority for the budget, education stabilization fund. And now this one, so I just need to know where you would fit this one on those three fixed transfers. Would it be the last?
Yeah, I
Last
think we'll
one.
put it in last. Thank you. So that we've had a motion and seconded for the FEMA money. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of this? 12-0. Senator Breen, when we were discussing, I'm not even sure what section we were discussing, but she brought up the cash program and making some adjustments to that. And she's gone to get the language off her desk. She just doesn't have it. We don't have it in front of us. We apologize for that. So we'll just give her a second to get back with that. I think I will go ahead with this initiative. I discussed earlier about the cash program. This initiative would provide one-time funds for a statewide collaboration of nonprofit and for-profit partners to provide free volunteer tax assistance, including the filing of state tax returns, outreach to low-income individuals and families about federal and state tax credits, financial education, connections to financial services and other resources, education for providers and volunteers, and statewide data collection. It's a one-time appropriation of $100,000 from the general fund. So I would move that in. For a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. What's that?
I am also. Next, I'd like to move in LD 1501. This is an act to protect the oral health care for the children of Maine, school-based oral health care services, and will establish the program. We have a general fund appropriation of $95,737 in FY in 2022, and an additional. Yeah, there's 3 sections to it. So the total general fund appropriation will be 100,904. Oh my gosh, I've lost my mind. Hold on, let me just get that. So this has to do with oral health for the kids, It's LD 1501. It's been engrossed and been on the table, and we're going to move it into the budget. There's funds in the general fund for it, and then also the all funds, and those total 100,900, and I can't believe I can't read this. 194,110 and 293,342. My apologies. It's 1:30 in the morning, I guess. I don't know. So I move that in.
Second.
Could you repeat that?
Where's your head?
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Next, I would like to discuss LD 393. It's been engrossed and it is a for the title, an act to improve the child welfare system. And I will turn to Representative Hymanson, who's very familiar with this bill. If you'd like to describe it briefly for people.
Yes, thank you. This is a prevention program for families at risk with children who are at risk of child neglect and abuse. It's a 5-part bill that expands existing programs like home builders and parents as partners. So it is a prevention program so that kids are helped and families are helped before bad things happen.
Thank you, Representative Hymanson. And this has a couple different sections of general fund to it, and then some all funds as well, but it totals $2.7,448,237. So I'd like to move that in.
I would second it, and if I might just comment briefly, this is a very important commitment to the child protective work that's going on in the Government Oversight Committee, and Senator Bailey, Representative Fay, and Representative Ryder and I were at a meeting yesterday where we had a special meeting to really refocus on an action plan, and this was discussed, and it is a priority. I know it came out of the Health and Human Services Committee unanimously, and we spoke to it yesterday in GOC, and I think it's important that we do it.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. The next bill we're going to move in is LD 372, and this is a unanimous report out of the HHS committee as well. And basically what this does is expand eligibility for the to provide Maine children access to affordable health care. This is known as the CHIP program. And we're going to be expanding access to this program for families who are currently the program goes up to 200% of federal poverty level. We're going to go up to 300%. And this brings Maine into compliance or into parity with the rest of the New England states. And in providing this benefit to children, it also extends, part of this program is also extends coverage to kids who are 19 and 20. And it does have a general fund appropriation of well, in total, it's about $3 million of general fund, but it has a very healthy federal match that brings in about another 9 million. So it's a good program, and altogether it's going to be about a $12 million program, all funds. So I'd like to move that in.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
Madam Chair, I'd like to next move in a transfer from the Department of Health and Human Services MAP account of $38.0 million. And Maureen, do you need any
Could
more
you
description?
repeat that?
Move in from the Department of Health and Human Services MAP account. I want to transfer that over to.
Yes, I think your lapsing balance is at the end of the fiscal year.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0.
I believe that concludes all of the amendments that we wanted to making adjustments unless Maureen or others feel we are. Okay, so I make a motion to move in LD 1995 as amended.
I'll second that, and I would assume that the good Senate representative to your left might want to exempt it from the table, or is it?
After we
Yeah.
adopt it, yeah. So the amendment to LD 1995 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. Representative Martin?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I now move that we exempt it from the appropriation statement.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second?
Oh, no.
Any discussion? All those in favor? 13-0. So before we adjourn, I want to thank everybody around the horseshoe. I want to thank the DAFS commissioner for her help with this project. I certainly want to thank Maureen Dawson, our amazing analyst, and the whole department of OFPR. And we're really pleased to be able to vote out our committee amendment in unanimous fashion. And I thank everybody on the committee for all your hard work. So we have to get Senator Davis home to bed because he is president pro tem tomorrow. So today, that's right, in short order. So we're going to adjourn for the evening and see you all very shortly. Thank you.